It's been a while since I made a video regarding my dreams, and since the last time I made a video, I've had quite a few dreams. A few which was quite interesting to me. Of course, all of them are interesting, like I tell you. But the last 3 dreams I hadn't recorded. I had motive and intent on making videos on the last 3 dreams, but I hadn't really had time to do it. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to compile all 3 dreams into one video. 2 of the dreams, which were the last 2, I think some way is connected in some form or another. You guys can give your feedback and tell me what you think on that. Okay, the first dream I had about a week ago, and this dream I was on a bus. It was in a town that I'm not familiar with, but this dream was quite short by what I can remember. Okay, it might have been longer, but it appeared to be shorter than, you know, it seemed to be a pretty short dream. And in this dream, I was sitting on a bus. It was quite strange because on this bus, it was very racial. It was almost like it was back in the civil rights movement. And it was weird because the beginning of the dream started with blacks sitting at the front of the bus. You know, people get on the bus, they can sit wherever they want to sit. And, you know, I detected a lot of hostility, a lot of animosity, a lot of anger among the Europeans, among the white race. A lot of racial hatred. And I recall getting on the bus, and there was like only a few seats left, and one was next to this European male, and he really didn't want me to sit next to him. He moved over, but he really didn't want me there. And I think there was some words exchanged or whatnot, according to what I can remember. But the dream switched. And when the dream switched, all the blacks were sitting in the back of the bus, and the whites were sitting in the front of the bus. And there was still animosity. Now, the blacks were pretty rowdy in the back because they were lashing out against the whites for being racist, as they felt, excuse me. They felt that they was racist. So there was a lot of hostility there, but the dream ended with the blacks sitting in the back of the bus. So in my own mind, I'm wondering if we're headed back to a civil rights war, a civil war between the blacks and the white, between races, you know. And you know, regardless of how advanced this country may have gotten, or advanced we thought this country have gotten, there's still that flavor of racism that controls the bulk of this country. Now that we're in a recession, now that people have lost their jobs, funds are tight, people are losing their homes, so people need to fault someone, okay? Instead of looking at the whole picture, they tend to fault a certain people. So now I'm hearing so many Europeans, especially within the political arena, on television, saying that blacks are the cause of this country being in a recession or being broke. And they're saying because of the public assistance and, you know, all these other programs that they have, and they feel that the blacks are milking the system, and they say that the blacks are the reason why this country is in trouble now. So that was the first dream. The second dream I had was, it was as if I was back in the military. And I've had this dream over and over again. I always had military dreams, but not this particular one, not the last 2 I had. And in this dream, the military, you know how you hear people say that we are in a police state, martial law, but in this dream, it was martial law, but it was not the police that was controlling the city area. It was the military. And the way the dream went, the things that I've seen in this dream was military personnel shooting people at will. And I saw like this one troop, he shot this man, and understand the race wasn't even an issue. It had nothing to do with race, because whites and blacks alike were being shot and killed, and they were just shooting people just for fun. It was like, it became like a sport to them. And so I recall seeing this one troop shoot this man, and when the man fell dead, they were just holding their rifle. They weren't even aiming it. They were just like pointing at people, just shooting at random. And then they started shooting the bodies that were already dead. They just started just shooting empty clips and the dead bodies on the ground. And I recall I'm standing there and I'm watching all this stuff take place, and there was no fear, but yet I always wondered in this dream when I was going to get hit with a stray bullet, or when someone was going to turn the weapon toward me. And so, because you can just, I mean, somebody could be standing next to you, and then before you realize it, they just drop dead. They were shot. Okay, so, but the military was doing this. Okay, it wasn't the police, it was the military. Okay, which makes me wonder if we're headed again into, and it maybe the first dream kind of ties into this too, because the first dream was, you know, I was talking about a civil war. The second dream, maybe that could be the reason why the military was there, but they were no better because they were killing civilians. And so, and I looked at that as, well, maybe something is coming to the point where the military do have to, you know, basically control the city areas, or maybe, you know, civilians, you know, because, you know, a lot of people, they make videos about FEMA, the FEMA camps and the FEMA vans and the FEMA coffins and things of that nature. So a lot of people are expecting things to take place, if not now, in the future. And we know that Obama just signed a thing where they activated certain FEMA camps. But the last dream, which I had a couple of nights ago, actually it was Sunday morning when I woke up, and I had this dream. And it was like I was on sea, but I wasn't in body form. And I saw these ships. Again, it was as if I was a part of the military. And I saw these ships that were sailing to shore. And what stood out in this dream was that the ships that were on water, you can look, it was complete. I mean, the atmosphere, the weather, it was dark, it was cloudy, it was stormy, and you can see the divide where the ships, the U.S. ships, were coming out of this cloudy, dark area. I mean, the clouds were like overcast, it was dark, it looked like there had been a storm, the water was even dark. But then it's like there was this divide where on the opposite side of that darkness was the sun was shining, you know, and the ships sailed out of that darkness into the sunlight, and they docked on the sand, on the beach. It was a beach because it was sand, but on the beach, it was as if people here in this country had set up like out processing stations. And but then again, I was a part of that. Now I'm in body form, and I'm on this beach, and we were like, they had like certain tables set up, and we were out processing, and the people were like welcoming the troops back. The sun was shining, you know, totally different than what was in the past. It was all as if, you know, they were sailing out of darkness, out of trouble or turmoil. And so they were like, you know, and the troops were like, some of them were crying. You know, I felt kind of emotional in the dream because I was coming out and they were saying like, you know, thank you for serving our country and all this other stuff. But the way the dream ended, before it ended, I found my old fatigue jacket. I saw my fatigue jacket, I picked it up, and it had my name on it, Jefferson. And I picked it up and I, you know, carried it, and I woke up out of that dream. So that particular dream, I'm looking at maybe a lot of the trouble that the military is having now, the wars, it's going to be over soon, you know, and troops are going to be coming home soon. That's how I look at that, because they were sailing out of a stormy environment into sunshine where the clouds were bright, you know, the sun was shining, and the sand was like, I mean, it was clean, you know, it was just clean. I've never seen sand that sandy before, if I could put it that way. But thinking about it now, I think all three dreams kind of relate in some way or another. Um, you guys feedback and tell me what you think on this. I thought it was just quite interesting. And, you know, again, I wasn't going to really speak about the dream about the bus after a couple of days, and then I had the other dream where the military was just shooting people at will or just randomly, just for sport. And I thought about doing it, and then I had this other dream, so I'm like, well, let me do all three together. So feedback the video and tell me what you think. Until next time, I am fearless.